Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how we're going to get Funko inspired TV shows and movies, which is pretty wild. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff in the collecting world. Can't wait to talk about that and everything else as well.
Collecting is the way. Now let's chat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Collector Chatter. This is episode 152. I am Migs here with Charlie. What's up, Charlie?
How's it going? Happy to be back. How was your trip to Disneyland?
It was amazing. It was great. It was the first time. If you guys know, we're huge Disney fans, and I've been to Disney World many times recently, but Disneyland was the first time ever that we were able to go out there, and I liked it. It was a little different, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to be away. California was nice. Weather was great.
Yeah,
In San Diego.
crazy weather here.
Yeah, we came back. It was freezing, and now we just got pounded with snow. So
yeah,
we're dealing with that, but in the midst of all that, we still have a lot of crazy stuff going on. Yes. So nuts. But you know what? It gave us time to kind of just, rip cards.
Yes, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot of stuff. Like I said in the intro, mostly what I was talking about in the intro was, of course, a big variety piece that came out about how Funko is going to be making Funko inspired shows and movies, and they're partnering with these couple companies that we're going to talk about. So we're going to get into that and kind of what does that mean and what do we think that's going to be. The CEO actually sat and spoke with Paige. They're called the Toy Book, and kind of went into like the state of the industry and like where he sees Funko going, and kind of like it was pretty interesting to kind of see his aspect of what he sees the company. And we're going to obviously give you our tidbits on that. And then we're going to run through a lot of the stuff that we love talking about, like VeeFriends. We got some new comics out, some new cards from them. Thrilljoy's in the news as well. Rokimoto, as always. And then we will end with some movie stuff like we have been doing lately. A couple trailers cool maybe that we're excited for and things like that. So we'll get into all that towards the end of the episode. So make sure that you stick around for sure to check out that part. But we're going to start it off with the Funko stuff because I know this is kind of the big one. Funko's where we started. This has been where our channel kind of was mostly. And, it's been kind of a roller coaster. But right now we're getting some crazy news, two different things that we're going to talk about. But we'll start off with the variety piece because this one, of course, everyone kind of ran with it like, oh, what does this mean or whatever. And the first thing I want to say is I took this as like, this is kind of what we probably thought about when we first heard about this new CEO. If you think about it, with the likes of Netflix and all these companies that he's worked for, right? And it just made it seem like, oh, maybe this is what he was going to do. And I didn't really think this would happen, but we got a lot of details and some information on this. And the two companies that I was saying that are kind of partnering with Funko for this is Rideback and Spurry, it looks like. So those are kind of like the two companies that are going to be spearheading this and kind of, putting it together. One's kind of like an AI type company versus where the other one's more of like an entertainment company or something. So I don't know. What are your thoughts kind of initially of this? And then we can even run through a little bit of the article to kind of get some more details as to like what they said and then kind of what we think this means.
Yeah. I mean, my first thoughts was like, finally, kind of like, and part of me wishes this happened a few years ago. I'm not going to say it's too late because I think it's an awesome idea. And like, I like that they are working with the same company that helped make the Lego movie.
Yes.
I mean, to me, that is the best like apples to apples comparison I can get. And I'm a huge Lego person. I love, like, me and my family love those movies. Mm-hmm. So if they can kind of like, the one thing that I kind of want Funko to do, which would be awesome, and maybe they can do it with Freddy being their character. Like, for people who aren't, I mean, if you haven't seen the Lego movie, what are you doing? But like the original one, I mean, they made new characters for that movie, but then they also had them step into the world of all the IPs, where like they were interacting with a bunch of different characters, like from DC characters. There's even Star Wars, but like everything and everything. I would like Funko to kind of, I don't care if they copy them, as long as I mean, people will probably say that if that is what they do, but if it's good, if it's funny, if it's like a family friendly film. I think this is a really good way. We always say like Funko, eh, they always try to reinvent themselves for better or worse, but I think this is going to be a big swing that is going to pay off for them, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know exactly, obviously, what it exactly is going to be like. Is it going to be a specific movie? Is it going to be shows? Is it going to be whatever? But if they go along the lines of what you said, like obviously this company helped make Lego Movie, so they took toys and put them into a movie,
Yeah,
right? And they created their own world and universe and everything out of that. They could totally make Funko that, right? And we've kind of somewhat seen that with their video game, right? Like, which clearly did not do well,
no,
and it was a little bit of a mess. But it was that you had Funko Pops and couple
the
different
story,
characters
the
and
game was just
different
weird.
licenses. Yeah, the game itself, the story, it just didn't really hit. But like they were able to get a character, a Funko Pop or whatever you want to call it, into like another world where it was animated and they were moving and whatever, right? That's all I mean by that. But in a movie form, and how well the Lego movie has done. And I mean,
Yeah,
it was funny you said like, yeah, they did other IPs and everything like that. They literally have, and I will say this, there is now a list of like all the theatrical Batmans, and Lego Batman is one of
is
them
one of them. Yeah.
because of how big of a deal it was, right? So like, yeah, like a Funko version of whoever it may be, whether it's an IP character or obviously Freddy for sure should be a part of this, Franny and Proto and all that, um, is interesting and exciting because it is something new and different. And it's just like, what does this mean necessarily? Because obviously, what they're saying right now. So a couple of things I'll read here. So, under the agreement, Spurry, which is currently working on Magic Treehouse, which is an animated TV series, and Rideback will both serve as Funko's content partners for the original Funko driven projects across animation, hybrid, live action, scripted, and unscripted formats. So, it seems like they have kind of like a big umbrella that they might do using like Funko as a license
Yeah.
and Funko as like a pop or whatever it may be, to kind of do shows or movies and even live action or whatever it might be, to kind of get some of this stuff in there. And then obviously Funko, it's not just Funko. They also have Mondo. They have a lot of other things, and they already have a lot of connections to big IPs and stuff. So like in the game, it was more Warner Brothers, I believe, is who they kind of took. Like the
Yep.
characters were IP
NBC
characters, and
Universal
they were
too.
in
Yeah.
there, right? Yeah, it's stuff. So like some of that stuff maybe is what they're gonna do, but it is interesting because right now they're strictly a toy company, and that's all we really got out of them. They tried to do that game thing. That's the closest thing we could compare it to because it was
Yeah.
different. It wasn't just toys. It was like actually them moving around. And I don't know. We'll see what happens because they're waiting to see more details as to, what's going to be announced for this. Um, there was also something here that was interesting. It says, so this announcement comes following years of Funko movie
I was
remaining
about
in
to
the
bring that
development
up.
stage at Warner Brothers, which that was something I don't think I really knew about that. Did you know that was something
Yeah.
that was?
Well, the reason you don't remember is because like it happened so long ago, I think, and I just assumed it was. I mean, it more or less is dead,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming whatever rights they had have expired, which is why this is being brought up again. Because like one thing that isn't really being talked about in this article, and I'm assuming, I mean, these companies that are mentioned, they're going to be like the production companies that are helping produce the movie, but I'm sure it's going to be sold to a studio. And based
Okay.
off of that, whatever studio gets involved, that's probably going to shape the stories. Let's just say Disney gets involved. You're obviously going to have Disney characters. Like if you have Disney Plus, everyone listening, and because I'm sure you've seen this before, I mean, you can just go on Disney Plus and see the plethora of different Lego things that
Mm-hmm.
have been made with
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, my daughter, yeah, Brooklyn
they
watches it all the
they
time.
should just be, I mean, I don't want to say it again, but like they should just copy that formula like to a T and see what happens. Like I don't think they need to reinvent the wheel. Like I'm happy you brought up the video game because they need to learn from those mistakes. That is something that I think they did terribly wrong. They created this weird idea where they had these like bad guy versions of these characters. I mean, a perfect example. I'm like my son. He loves collecting Funko with me. He loves video games. He was afraid of that game. Like, he was just like, "This like, I don't wanna play that game, I don't like it." Like, he's never said that about a Lego game before, and,
Yeah,
like, I think that's why that game failed, and I'm assuming they'll play it more safe with the movies and TV shows, but once again, they have tons of different, um, things to work with, and once again, like, Josh has the connections as well. I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if Netflix ends up getting this.
yeah. I
It'll
mean,
just be
that'd be smart. It'd be
yeah,
big for them to do. But he even was speaking pretty highly about like Ride Back specifically because they really were the ones that took Lego and brought it to life. He even says like Lilo and Stitch they were a part of. I believe they also were involved in those other movie that they said
Avatar,
an Avatar, yeah, like the
the
Avatar Last
Netflix
Airbender.
version.
So clearly they have some type of connection in like bringing certain characters and certain things into movie form and shows and stuff like that. The Spurry one is the one that's interesting because obviously they are somewhat of like an AI company. It's not like they necessarily just are only doing AI art or whatever, but they use like certain things to create stuff to make it easier for companies and stuff like that. So
Yep.
it's like maybe it's not necessarily the worst thing because initially when I heard it, I was just kind of like, oh, they're gonna make like AI looking Funko, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like
I
whatever. And
don't
I don't
think
think
that's the
that's really what
case,
it
yeah.
is. But they're both pretty big on like the whole storytelling aspect and like making sure that because Funko's so big and such a huge community that like they have a lot to work with. And I think it could be a really positive thing. I don't think it's like something that when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've been waiting for this, but I don't hate it. Like I think if it comes out, like you said, if they really I mean, do it at this point, but if they just copy Lego, I mean, it's gonna be different enough because it's a Funko
Exactly.
Pop, not a Lego, but it'll at least be in that world. We'll get something pretty cool because there's so many characters they can do. And then, like you said, if it's strictly Disney related stuff, or if they are on HBO Max and it's like WB stuff, like you know, you could still get like really cool characters in movie or show form. So,
And what's also super cool about it is, like, we know Freddy, ultimately Franny, Proto, but, like, the masses don't know those, so that's actually also just great for their brand already, for their fans, and then they could turn those into, like I was saying before, like, the character Emmett that Chris Pratt plays that was created for the Lego movie,
mhm,
like, they don't even need to do that, like, they can already do that with the characters that they have. I also feel like it could be a tool to start getting, like, other artists just to come in to make, like, maybe Funko shorts, like, on TV, like, it also depends, like, once again, I feel like who they partner with and the platform is also gonna shape this, like, I feel like this is still just really early, but, like, I am excited for this actually, like, the more I think about it, the more pumped I am. I mean, I thought the ship had sailed, kinda like when you said when I heard the news, it wasn't like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever," but now I'm, like, really thinking about it, I'm like, "This could really bring Funko to a new weird level if the movies and TV shows are good."
mhm, yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, it definitely can. Like, it can help them for sure. Can it hurt them? I don't know.
it
Maybe at this point, they've done so many different
yeah,
things, and some stuff has been terrible, and they kind of just keep trucking along. So maybe not. But I think more than anything, it probably will help them. At least
yeah,
expand themselves out to other forms of entertainment and stuff. So it's exciting. But in connection with that, of course, the CEO, because he's been the new CEO now for not too long, and a lot of stuff has kind of been changing, and he has a lot to do with this. His face has been out there. He is
yeah,
definitely very different from previous CEOs at this
very
point,
different.
and how early on. And he's really taken this role of like getting out into social media, into the entertainment world, and like that's where he came from. So he knows like what works, right, when it comes to that. So he was in a nice little discussion with page the Toy Book, and they called State of the Industry Q&A with Josh Simon, of course, from Funko. So he had a little interview. They asked him a few questions. We'll run through a couple of them, kind of our thoughts on this. But I will say overall, and I think you kind of had the same sentiment as me, but overall, it was a good good interview. He said a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that we've kind of been saying we wanted, or we've kind of hinted towards. He's like, he is really kind of hitting the right parts to like getting you feel like, okay, we're in a good spot with Funko, or they're going to change this up and whatever. His big thing is clearly like entertainment and being in pop culture and what's
experience.
now, and like we've talked about that. Like Funko was terrible at like something coming out instantly with what's hot, and they would come out with something 6 months too late,
Yeah,
when it was like it's no longer a big deal anymore. So it was like it was too late. Where Funko being pop and pop culture, like that's what they should have always been, right? So he seems to be kind of running with that, and just being really big on like that part of Funko. But that's kind of like what I got as a gist out of the whole thing. I'm assuming it was kind of similar with you, right?
yeah, totally. That he's really leaning into that, and I think it's smart. He's leaning into experiences. He wants to, you know, I think he wants to bring retail back in a way where like you're gonna go into a store and you're gonna know it's a Funko experience. It's not just gonna be stuff thrown on a shelf,
Yeah,
which I thought was cool. I'm wondering if we're gonna get some Funko stores. Maybe get a flagship store on the East Coast. Another thing that I thought was really cool in that article was there's going to be a Funko like activation in the new Miami stadium in MLS, which is super cool. And they're gonna, I mean, dude, it's almost just like maybe he listened to old episodes of our podcast. They're gonna make a special like 5-pack of the team that you can only get
yeah,
at the stadium, which is super cool. Um, Once again, I mean, but that was his bread and butter at Netflix. So
yeah,
it's nice to see him bring a lot of those ideas over to Funko and really turning it into like a pop culture brand, not
yeah,
just like he's really leaning into other stuff. I feel this is a complete opposite of what Cynthia was trying to do.
yeah.
And it's
No, I mean
exciting.
he gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, he's even saying like some of the cool stuff, because they asked him like, kind of like what's the last year been like for Funko, and like what are some big moments and stuff. And obviously, he gives kind of more of the cookie cutter answer at first, and everything
yeah.
big that they've been doing, they're selling everything, the momentum, blah blah blah. But he speaks about a couple things, and this is what I was saying. Like, it's exciting to see is that like he points out like the K-pop Demon Hunters, for instance, right? That was massive. It was huge. It was in the now, and they quickly announced that like, hey, we're gonna have these pops, and we're gonna make all these characters, and we're gonna do this, whatever. They pushed it out there. They made it like a huge. It was a cultural phenomenon when that movie came out, and he took advantage of it. But then another cool thing that I saw, and we saw this, was the Tonight Show. So with Jimmy Fallon was
Yes.
Stranger Things cast, which was kind of crazy how Jimmy Fallon did it, but he basically had like a different member of the show on every day. Like a
Yes.
different character was there, a different actor, actress, whatever. And then there was obviously one where he had the directors, and he had them kind of like
Tease
give
the
an
finale.
idea to tease how the finale was going to be, and they did it with Funko Pops, and it's hilarious because I remember we even saw it afterwards that like when you look back at it, they're like, wow, they actually told us what was going to happen, but at the
Yeah.
time you don't really get it. But they did it with Funko Pops, which they could have obviously done it with anything, but it was like just the fact that it was a Funko Pop. Like Funko was in front of everybody. They saw that,
People
oh,
were
you can get
talking
these
about
as
it.
pops. There was the whole thing, yeah. So like a lot of that stuff has been like a big deal. He talks about Biddy Pops too. Like obviously, I guess that really is something that
Uh,
they're going to keep going with,
well,
which
it's
is
funny. I wanted
interesting.
to bring that up because it's very obvious they're doing well. They're obviously doing much better than either you and I believe. Like I've always joked
I
that I think they should be doing.
I
I
don't think
would.
they're doing well. I think they're
You
just
still
cheap
didn't
for
make
them,
them,
and that I think it's so cheap to make them that they're doing well enough for them to make money off of it.
but
But
I
I
guess
don't
that's all
see
that
it being like the
matters.
highest. Like yeah, like I don't know. Like to me, there's still so many, and there's still so many that sit around. But I really think there just must be so cheap to make that it's like they don't see like a loss on it, I guess. I don't know if it's necessarily like I don't know. You really think it's like popular, or you just think it's making them money? I just think it's making them money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's making them money, but it's making them enough money where they're going to continue it. And but I got the vibe, I don't remember exactly what he said in the article, but there's going to be like new ways that they're going to kind of be presenting the Bitty Pops as well in a retail store. There may be like machines, like old school, like, like a vending machine, and changing it up. And I'll tell you one thing that I love about the Bitty Pops. I don't feel like you'll ever like one, but I do think the arcade cabinets are pretty cool. Uh, you've seen those, right? Where like
Mhm.
it's like I think if they continue to do stuff like that, but I just once again I found it interesting, but I do believe you hit it right on the nail where it's like it's probably just so cheap to make. It's making them money, so they're gonna roll with it. I still feel like though there's got to be a market where it's working that we just don't realize.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
know.
in like 5 and below, for example, because I know they're in there
Maybe.
and people are buying them. And like, even though it's weird, I've been looking at Target recently. Like, I'll always pass where they're at when I go in there. The stock is dwindling, and I don't know if that's because they're getting rid of them and they've like
Probably.
clearance them out, sent them away, or people are buying them. But
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it is. So, like, he kinda talked about it because they were asking him. So the question was like, how are new categories or formats like the premium blind box range expanding Funko's audience beyond the core fan base? So like he obviously talks about like how, they're not looking at it as like a SKU. They're thinking about it more
yeah,
like a fan experience. And then he talks about the premium blind boxes. So obviously they offer platform for independent artists and collaborations. So he talks about how that's more like why they did those, whatever, right? And then a new pop mystery, so obviously that's going to expand. He said in the third quarter, with more of a premium design forward, with the obviously storytelling. It's exclusive because of the mix and all that kind of stuff. And then he's like, Biddy Pop continues to grow as part of the Biddy verse, playful world of town, city stages, neighborhoods, and whatever. So like he talks about the whole like town aspect in the building, and I get like the thing is like I get what they're trying to I mean, he's saying it like what you've been saying, like, yeah, it's like Lego, it's like
they should have hired
building
me.
blocks, it's like those are what they want to do, but they haven't been doing that, and that's why I think I don't like what
Yeah, they
Biddy
actually
is.
should be packaging them in like a Lego type box where it's like, I'm gonna buy the Funko City. Once
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah,
legitimately
yeah, yeah,
copy
yeah.
them, make the
You build a
pieces
couple
this
things, and then
yeah,
the
the
minifigures are
or the
biddies,
biddies.
which is what they should be doing. That's why I think, because like even the like the arcade ones you were talking about, or they have the little ride. Well, they have the rides
Yeah,
obviously, and
yeah.
then they have the ones where it's like inside of another pop or whatever. Like all of those things, like to me, are just like a small piece of some type of way of displaying. Because like the arcade one, right? Like you're not playing with it. You put it in there and it looks
Yeah.
cool, but you display it, right? Ultimately it's going to be like a display piece or a desk piece or something like that. And I think like they kind of tried to think like we're going to do what pop does but in a small form, but not, people didn't really want that. They should have done something completely different that has nothing to do with pop is. It just happens to be the figure looks like a pop, and
I
make it like
agree.
a kids thing, make it more like a toy, make it more like that's like what I think they're trying to do. But it's been a couple years that Biddy's been out, and it's just like it seems like they're slowly getting to there. So
Yeah.
maybe it'll be different. Maybe he's looking more in that aspect. I mean, based off of this, where he says like the cities and towns and stages and all that, that's kind of what he's looking for. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see kind of like his aspect of what he thinks is going to happen with this. And then, of course, he talks about like it being more international. And this is kind of like, going into Europe and like launching Pop Yourself over there and like doing things like that, which, it's fine. It's global. He obviously had a huge connection with like international stuff because of Netflix and stuff. So he's kind of, backing off of that as well, saying like, I can use this to do that kind of thing, whatever. But um, did you see what he said? So this was like, what should retailers and fans be most excited for within this year? And that's where I thought it was interesting. That kind of goes into some of the stuff that you were talking about with the Inter Miami Stadium, with stuff about Walmart, like having
Yeah.
more dedicated like like it no longer just being like, oh, a bunch of stuff on the shelf
Yeah.
or thrown into with the toys, or sometimes it's with the books, or sometimes
It's
it's
all
like
over the
always been
place.
a
Like
mismatch of stuff. this seems like more specific, like kind of, we bashed them a lot, but kind of like what Thrilljoy did with Hot
Yep.
Topic, and more of an experience and more of like an actual
Totally.
setup. And it does seem like they're kind of doing that. And he's taking advantage also of the fact of the IPs that they have, like the Star Wars and Marvel and things like that. Like when those movies and things come out, I'm sure he's probably got that Netflix mind still, where think about how many Stranger Things displays and things there were when Stranger Things stuff was out.
Yeah.
Like that brings excitement to like a product. And then like if it's, Doomsday being a huge movie, you got a whole display, and it might have the movies, it might have books, comics, whatever, but then it's got Funko Pops and toys and then shirts and whatever. Like they got to get into that. And it seems like that's kind of what he's talking about.
I agree. I mean, that's exactly what they need to be doing. I feel like I'll just keep using Target as an example. I feel like some Targets have done a good job with doing that at times, and some haven't. Like I've been to some where like you couldn't have said it better with Stranger Things. Like that's the way every launch for a big movie at a retail store should be if they have a product line. So
Mm-hmm.
like when the new Mandalorian Grogu comes out, the Funko Pops should actually be with all that merchandise, not just shoved in a corner, or if it needs to get a dedicated space. Like one thing that I really always think of, which I know our audience probably isn't big on these at all, unless you have children, but like I think of Tony's, and like
Yeah.
they have
Yeah, my
like
daughter.
a dedicated spot in Target now. I know they did a lot of work of getting that. When you go to the aisle, it is Tony's. It is
Mm-hmm.
branded. It has like specific things showing off the product. Like I think Funko go a long way with that, especially with the biddies.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because the
because it
biddies,
is,
that's
because
another thing. They're a terrible product placement in a store.
yeah, well, I was gonna say, well, they kind of became, so it wasn't even just a toy, it was kind of the back wall of where the toys were, and they had the collector section or whatever is what they called it,
Yes.
whatever it was, right? But it didn't really make sense. And I get why, like you had like NECA figures in there, and you had all these other toys and plushes or whatever, and it's like, all right, you're collecting those and you're collecting some type of
Yeah.
figure. Funko could be in there, but really, like they're big enough that they can do their own thing. Like Tony's, that company
Agreed.
is not that big. Like they're,
No.
they've
No.
gotten big obviously, but nowhere near
No.
what a Funko is, right? And it's
Exactly.
like they could do that at a Target. Like why isn't Funko doing that? And it always like sometimes they'll be in multiple places in one store. And
Yeah.
you're like, why is some stuff here? Why is some stuff over there?
It's
It's like
bad.
it's nuts. It's so weird. But yeah, overall, it's exciting news to kind of see where his head's at. I think it is in a good place that we feel like, he's really trying to make a difference, and he knows his audience. He knows kind of what people, want and where the
Yes.
world is right now and how entertainment is. And he's kind of moving that way. I think him being a little bit younger and being attached to Netflix, all that just gives him like so many more notches than what Cynthia had and like where she
He's
came
tapped
from
in.
and her, yeah,
Yeah.
she was in a completely different world, I think. But um yeah, it's good to hear, and it's going to be exciting to see what comes of this throughout the year. Obviously, we're going to get more stuff, and it was nice to see what he said about the third quarters when we're going to start getting those mystery stuff. And
Yep.
it was funny though that he did mention the premium blind boxes and all that stuff, when in reality those things are on clearance right now because they didn't sell.
Yeah.
So.
That was a weird product line. And I like the idea of him giving it to independent artists. It's super cool. And like they showed off
Mm-hmm.
some new ones at the toy fair that look cool, but that's not the Funko audience. And like it works for the Pop Marts of the world.
Yeah.
I just feel like they probably shouldn't have done that. Like even the new ones, like I don't
You
think
know,
they're gonna move.
you know what's funny that you said though? Like, I think it'd be smarter of them to get into Pop Mart and have a fun, because they can have like,
Yeah.
think about it, Rokimoto's in
Yeah. Miniso.
Miniso, right? It doesn't have to be Pop Mart, it could be Miniso, because I think Pop Mart's a little more like they
Pop
sell
Mart
their
doesn't
own
take
stuff.
other brands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they sell their own stuff, even though it's IP'd and stuff like that.
Yep.
But like Miniso will take other brands and they'll sell it, right? Get into a Miniso type of thing where it's like it's Funko branded, it's mystery style, it's only there.
Yep.
People that have no idea what Funko is will go in there and buy it. You know why? Because we go into the stores and we buy other products that we don't know what the hell the company actually is. It's just because of the IP and it's just because it's a cool little mystery box.
100%.
That's literally what we're doing. That would be the smartest thing for them to do. And you don't have to sell it on Funko. They don't have to sell it through their own chain.
Yeah,
Like,
no one wants to
stick to the
buy like
pops and the stuff like
those
that
that
they
way.
sell that are strictly, yeah. Like, that's who you're gonna get. And people will buy it that don't even know Funko is, and they're still gonna sell it. And people will buy it that know who Funko is too, because
Yeah,
they'll be like, oh, I gotta go to that
100%.
store to get it. That's what they should do, man. We gotta work there.
I know.
All right, let's move on from Funko.
Let's move on
Gonna
to
get a little
VeeFriends.
crazy. Yeah, let's get into VeeFriends. VeeFriends. They have been huge, and obviously we've been talking about them a lot because the big thing has been obviously the comic books as of late.
Yep.
We spoke about it before, you know, the leak list that came out, and it seems like obviously it's real, and
It was right.
we're getting a lot more of those coming up. We had
It's like
just
the good old
recently,
NFT leak days when we got those.
oh my god, I know, and then they would come out. That was awesome. We had actually gotten episode, I think since we spoke, there was issue 11 and
Yes.
10 and 11 even, I think maybe at that
We're
point.
getting 12
and
now.
now we're at 12. And it is happening like you kind of hinted, that it seems like it's going to be every 2 weeks or every, like, it's coming a lot faster now.
Kind of crazy.
But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be fun, exciting, stressful, like, yeah, because we all want to continue to collect all of these, and they all have been amazing issues. But let's talk about a little bit about the latest one and kind of how they dropped it. They do a lot of these little cool teaser videos and stuff too. But we are now on issue 12,
and it's of the Mindfell Minakawa, and this looks like it's gonna be a pretty sick issue. It looks a little more adult than some of them have been, even though I feel like they're pretty kid friendly, besides the Motivated Monster one, which, you know, VeeFriends has flat out said that. But this, per usual, they're gonna do their drop where NFT holders can get it beforehand, but it'll actually be dropping on Whatnot tonight. So if you want to try to get your first VeeFriends comic, I would try to go onto that show.
Public,
yeah,
right?
For everyone. And they're still, it's funny, I was telling this to someone the other day who wanted to try to get into it. They're all readily available still. You get them on Whatnot streams or even on their website, besides the first three. The first issue is impossible for any normal person to get. And then, then 2 and 3, they're completely sold out. There's no more of them. But everything else you could still get. But you know what? Another thing that's
you muted yourself.
I hate when I do that. Another thing, though, I don't know if we mentioned on this podcast before, which is super cool about the VeeFriends comics. You can go on to VeeFriends.com and read them digitally for free.
Yeah. I think you did mention that at one point, which is a cool thing. Just to get the story.
The newest one doesn't come out like immediately. It takes a little bit to come out for free because obviously they want you to buy it. But the collectability of the comics is what's awesome. But once again, if you just want to read some of the stories and see if you want to get into it, I would go to VeeFriends.com to check that out. But all in all, I mean, I'm pretty excited for this comic. I've read a bunch of them. I'm not caught up yet, but I really like them.
Yeah. No, I mean, artwork's always been amazing. They choose great artists. They obviously have really cool variations of cover and cover arts and stuff. But one thing, because I know they're numbered and they're like limited to a certain amount or whatever. But in the last, besides 1, 2, 3, let's say, or whatever, like, were those just numbered less? Like, is that why, did they raise up the number eventually now? Because I feel like now it's like, they don't really sell out per se. Like, you always kind of have a chance, and they're always still trying to sell them. They'll be back on a stream and they have all the episodes, every issue from like 4 or 5.
I don't think,
whatever.
I don't want to be quoted on this. I think they upped them. So everyone,
okay. Because I feel like I remember hearing a number about too, and I think because it was almost impossible to get.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for
I'm pretty sure they upped
3.
them. But it's cool that people still get them. And once again, I mean, it's funny in the beginning. I mean, some of the people in the community buy tons of them. Me and Migs get one. You get the special cover. It's cool.
Yeah.
You don't. There's still
just to have one and get the set.
The original artwork, the common artwork, quote unquote, is just as awesome.
Yeah, sometimes better. Especially that one time they flipped it by accident. But yeah, I'm on the same boat. It's amazing. how we're seeing these. This one looks great as well. The artwork on this looks pretty badass. So it's really a cool character that we're getting, and everyone has kind of just been pretty sick as far as like the artwork, the story, and kind of where they're going with this. And there's obviously a lot more to come, but we're going to continue to be collecting these as well as of course the cards, which is also another thing I
Yes,
wanted to mention. We talked about it a while ago because it was announced. This was last year even, and then we
which
finally
is
started
crazy.
getting them in, and it is of course their latest set, which is the super stickers, but the spectacular series. First time they've come out with this type of super sticker, not just your normal generic super sticker with like rarities. This was like really cool with colors and six different rarities of like colors and like designs, tons of cool inserts. Like they try to really make this like their own version of like a tops, let's say, but it's
Yeah,
their version, which is also cool. They are all actually stickers as well. They have numbered ones, autographs, stuff like that. And these boxes have been really cool and fun to rip. And we've even seen some on Whatnot streams. I was even in a break, which I never do that, and I got some pretty cool cards.
they're fun.
Um, but the boxes are fun. I have another one that just came in, so I cannot wait to rip that immediately because it was really fun to open up these packs and just kind of see what you get because you never know. They have like some pretty cool hit rates on some stuff, so that has been exciting. When it comes to VeeFriends, I know you've also liked this set. I mean, I love the artwork and everything they've done with this set
Yeah,
of characters and colors and everything.
I mean, I absolutely love this product. I also think it's the first product in VeeFriends in a while that like is kind of readily available.
Hmm.
So it is more of an like, Gary loves to say like you get a whole hobby box, like you can't beat the price. And I do think you're getting pretty good value. And like you said, the artwork is awesome. There's numbers. There's like nods to the 5-year anniversary of VeeFriends with like the original arts from Gary.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I love these. I've had a blast ripping them open. And I once again, like if you I know some people have still listened to our podcast, they're kind of like, these guys love VeeFriends. Other people are like, I just still don't really know what VeeFriends is. Yeah, yeah. Like I think if you're into, I know they're super stickers, but like they're cards at the end of the day. Um, if you really like are kind of interested, I think this is like a product that I would get.
Hmm.
Another thing that's super cool, even though they'll probably be harder to find, but I'm pretty sure Walmart's gonna have them. So if you have a Walmart, especially if you're in an area that like isn't super crowded or populated, you probably have a good chance. They're gonna have them in like hanger packs.
Yeah.
And they actually come with exclusive cards you can only get in those hanger packs, which looks
Hmm.
sick. Um, so I'd be on the lookout for those. But you can actually go to vfriends.com right now if you want, and it actually links you over to uh a store in the city that you can buy them off their website and their retail price actually.
The hanger
I was
ones?
yeah, no, the boxes
Oh,
if
the
you wanted to get
boxes
into
of
the
oh, that's
boxes.
cool. I
So
didn't know
like
that.
they've
Yeah,
been
100 bucks. Everyone's been selling them at
yeah,
MSRP, which
they're
is great
selling them
too.
at retail there, which I also appreciate. Um, who knows how long that will last, but it's been
Yeah,
lasting, which I like. Um, but yeah, awesome product.
yeah.
Couldn't say better things. And one other thing I wanted to mention, I did just check make so they were 3,000 edition comics in those first ones.
And
So
now
3,000,
they're
10,000.
10. Oh, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
huge,
Very
huge
different. Yeah. I
difference.
knew it went up. I didn't want to. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, this box is great. And like you said, it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's 100 bucks for the box. You're getting a total of 36 stickers and of these cards. So the big thing about it is like the pull rates are pretty good where you can get a card or two or three, let's say, and you're getting your money back essentially
Yeah,
with what it's
100%.
worth and like the value of it now. And knowing VeeFriends, like a lot of this stuff just the value just keeps going up and it's like something that's good to hold on to. So if you can get your hand on a box or you haven't already, like Charlie said, if you could do it through the website, it's even better. There's always Whatnot streams and stuff. And people are selling them. Like I got my second box just being on a Whatnot stream where they partnered with another company that had a ton of them and they were selling them all just at retail. And
Yeah.
people didn't even realize that they were paying. It's wild. They were selling packs like an auction and then ripping them right there. and people were paying anywhere from $25 to $35 for a pack. And this
Just
has
crazy.
12 packs in a box. And the box was being sold for retail at $100. And these boxes were in their shop and no one was even knowing.
Buying them.
People were commenting like, are the ones you're ripping now the same that are in the box? Like they thought they were different for some reason. And it was like, no, they literally just pulled out one pack from one of these literally same kind of boxes, and you could just buy it for $100 and get your own 12 packs. You know, why even
Wild.
pay 30 for one? But it's whatever. It's the way the game is with the whole gambling aspect of it. And then last thing was obviously in VeeFriends related is Chrome is going to be coming at some point 26. We've kind of talked about this and how hard Chrome was for 25, and it seems like Gary kind of tweeted something that makes you think that like it's probably going to be a similar
Yeah.
story, mostly because it's controlled by Tops, and Tops, like he said, is probably not going to make enough for this demand. The
Sucks.
only good thing is that they already have the 25, so they should know that the demand is there. That hopefully that means that they could print more and figure out a way. But I'm not. That's why I kind of went a little harder on this, because I just know when Chrome does come out, it's gonna probably not be as
Yep.
easy again. And I love any type of these products and ripping them, so I had to get my hands on something. But we'll see when the announcement and we start getting more. Like they've kind of slowly they announced one of the erupt
Yeah,
characters,
they're
and
like
like so they're doing it little by
dropping
little.
hints.
Yeah, that we're gonna get.
It
The
is
stuff.
disappointing to hear that though, because it's funny because I guess like Rips, who he's in charge of collectibles, who's like Gary's right hand when it comes to all that stuff. Gary's very active on Twitter. You can find a lot of stuff on there, and when he was saying that Rips was downloading him on it, it just is upsetting because that product, I once again, like, we were legitimately talking, me and Migs were talking about this like a few days ago, so it's weird that this tweet happened. Like, I was under the impression that it would be like easier to get this time because they showed that it went well.
Yeah,
It obviously didn't go, I don't know, well enough. Like, I don't know.
yeah. Who knows what that
It's just,
really?
it's
Yeah.
annoying because especially that it's a Tops product. Like, that's the other thing, which the super stickers are sick, but like they're made by VeeFriends. So the fact that it has like the Tops, prestige on it,
Mm-hmm.
just change it. I know it changes it for the breakers. That's what got breakers into VeeFriends, actually. None of them gave a crap about Series 1 or Series 2. That was really
Mm-hmm.
the VeeFriends community. So yeah, I still think it'll be a little better, but like you're gonna get your like box probably, and then if you want anything else, you're gonna have to pay like crazy prices, which just sucks.
We'll see, especially when we start seeing more about it. But we'll talk about it for sure on here whenever we do get more news and more content on that. But we'll move it on to another company real quick, just because this was something that was a little interesting, and we've talked about them, on a positive end and a critical end or whatever, and we still do like them and collect them. But this is something that is a little concerning because it has to do with Thrilljoy. And, there's a lot of pictures and posts. Obviously, Dish Trackers had their big posts that everyone sees, but a lot of people are commenting that this is happening with them as well. The local hot topics and stuff, just the amount of product that we're seeing out there that just doesn't seem like it's really selling. Some new stuff, some old stuff. We even have
Yeah.
some of the old panoramic style picks that are still in hot topic stores when they started getting those. A lot of stuff is just kind of sitting out there, and it just makes you think. Like, I think it could be. I think it's a combination of a couple things. One, I think they're coming out with too many different like ones
100%.
at one time. Like, we've kind of said this before, and like I understand. Like, we got to play the middle a little bit, where it's like, yeah, we've said sometimes that people don't make enough of stuff, right? But then there's also another end where it's like there's too much. You got to kind of find a little bit of a middle ground. And that's specifically like SKUs, like whether it's a specific movie or show, like you're just making too many different ones. They're also duplicating a lot of stuff, which we'll get into in a second with something else. But I also think another issue with this, and Thrilljoy, when it first came out, the whole big thing was about exclusivity and numbered and how rare and stuff like that. I think these numbers are just too high. I think we have like a 9,999 piece or 8,000 piece or 7,000 piece. I think those numbers are just too big, because you see them really sitting out there because not that many people are buying them. And yeah, there's some people that are really buying multiples, and obviously, but there's just not enough of those people, and there's not enough of your regular consumer who just will buy one or two or three here and there to really get these down. And like, is it a problem that, it's readily available for you? Like, no. But if this is what these shelves look like, and then new product comes out, like, it's eventually just going to be too much. It's going to be like, they got to do something about this. And it's priced at a good price. So it's not the price. I just think they're making too many different ones. And I do think the piece counts are too high, even though they're technically like kind of more, rare or harder to get and exclusive. I think they're still kind of higher than they really should be. Does that make sense?
Totally, because they're not like they keep saying they're limited, but limited only matters when, like you said, they are gone and you can't get them anymore and they're
Hmm.
flying off the shelves. They're just not. Um, like you said, they're making too many. I also think they need to have. I know I can maybe be a broken record, or I can go back and forth, but I used to like the randomness of their drops. Now I think that's hurting them because there's these random properties that like no one really cares about. Like I thought in the
Like too
beginning,
niche.
it's too niche and like they're coming out together. Like I remember in the very beginning, it's like, okay, they had a Harry Potter launch. Like that was cooler in my opinion than just like now they're just throwing a Harry Potter one in every random launch with a horror, with a this, with a show that no one cares. Like it's just way too niche. And I also think like, and I know there's other products out there, especially our beloved sodas, but I don't know why. For me, sodas are just different. And in the beginning, sodas weren't as expensive as they ultimately became. That's like another thing that I want to throw out there. Like in the beginning, sodas were like 12, like weren't they like 12.99? Then they became like 15 plus and then ultimately 18. Like they were much cheaper in the beginning, where these are $20 a pop. And I think the whole mystery aspect of it is getting old for people who aren't in their community.
Hmm.
No, the average person isn't going to chase a super chase. They're just not going to. They probably don't even really know it exists. And there's something about not like the reason Pop Mart works so well, and I actually am going to give Funko credit for this with their new products. Like there are so many options. Yes, you have the opportunity to get a duplicate if you bought two of a Pop Mart product, but odds are not in your favor of that happening. Where here, some people are buying like 10 of them, they're getting the exact same one. That's just
Hmm.
a waste of money, and you kind of piss off the average consumer. And I do think people are realizing that. Like, a random person may go into a Hot Topic and just buy a Funko Pop, but if you see like you don't actually see what the figure's gonna be, I weirdly think that's hurting them as a grander scale, if that makes sense, rather than like their community who loves it. But their community is just it's a small, outspoken community within the collecting community.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is an interesting take because we love mystery boxes and we love that aspect, but yeah, they kind of like are in a middle. Like, pop is just one. Maybe it has a chase option, but you
Yeah.
don't have to mysteriously see it. You see it, like if it's a chase, right? And then the likes of Pop Mart, Labubu, products, Miniso products, Rokimoto, even
Yeah.
like you said, there's a variety of 6 to 8 or whatever of them. More chances are not you're going to get one and not get a duplicate. This is like literally like it's a very high chance you're going to literally just get one of them. If you get another one, it's going to be the same exact one. And there's a small chance you might get something different. And there's a very small chance that you'll get something even more different. And like, it's fine that they do that, but I think at the numbers that they're doing it at is where it's
Exactly.
becoming more like, yeah, it's just it's a tough sell for some people. And it is interesting because like there's some people in these comments that are like, oh, my Palmar looks like, or my Hot Topic looks just like this, and majority of them are saying that. But there are a
Yeah.
few that are saying that their stuff is being sold. I think one of them is a California person, so like maybe they're a little different out there. I think one of them, she said, actually she's in Maryland and she doesn't see them, but we do see them being bought up and sold a lot of whatnot and stuff like that. So those people still exist, but overall, yeah, a lot of people are seeing this where it's just flooded with too much product. And I really think the LE numbers need to be lowered. I think that's a big thing that can help this because add more excitement to like, oh, this sold out. Now, if you want to resell it or whatever, you're gonna go spend more money
Agreed.
because you really want it, rather than just you know having so many of them on the shelf and then you like think if you're gonna buy it or not. But yeah, that's just a little thing on Thrilljoy. Another thing in the news with them is they will be at MegaCon. They're gonna do like one of their bashes again, so that's just something that look out for. They are doing their events. I can't hate on them for really like pushing stuff out and doing stuff, events and fun things like that as much as they can. I just think they're overdoing some of the product stuff, and we've talked about that a few times, but not to just keep beating a dead horse with that.
Yeah.
And then this is another aspect of where we feel like they've kind of dropped the ball a little bit, and it is they obviously have different SKUs and different products, and one of them being besides his picks is the pixels, which we do like. You get the little small little background that they sit in, and it's very similar to panoramics but smaller. These you do get. This is closer to like the Miniso and Palm Mars because there's
Yeah.
there's six all the time, right? And you have a chance at getting one of those. Like your chance of pulling the same one twice is a lot less rare than on the regular picks. Um, then they have the gold redemption. Obviously, it's always been a big thing that they're doing. However, like what they have chosen to make in these has been a little questionable,
Yeah.
especially this one. The newest one that was announced was Batman. And they have really milked this line. We spoke about it last time with like, how they're making so many. They basically did all of these in pix form now, and now they're just
Yep.
taking those and making them in pixel form. Where I feel like if they're gonna do different products, like maybe do less picks, and then if they want to do a line, just make that line only pixel.
Agreed.
Like if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's
No, you took the
this
words
is
right out of my
interesting.
mouth. Like it's just the same stuff, and also like as a fan of the Pixel line, it kind of diminishes, in my opinion, finding some of the chases or even super chases of the Pix because those characters are
The
in
same
the
mold,
Pixels.
yeah, and a little
I
pixel,
mean,
yeah.
I know they're not the same, and
Mm,
like some people, most collectors are keeping them in the box and they're bigger, but like it's still the same character. I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just it's not what I expected when they first announced this. Um, and now you ultimately just know, like, if it's in a pixel form, we're getting it in a pix and vice versa. I
yeah,
feel like for any major property, there's not going to be much that's special about it, which I don't like. And I get it; it's a cost, like it's a cost savings thing, but I don't know. That's it.
yeah,
Just yeah, I I'm just I feel like the jury's still like out for Thrilljoy. It'll be interesting to see how MegaCon goes, and I know that's not like his. It's a big con, but it's not like San Diego Comic Con. Like I'm curious if their presence going to be there again this year, and what the hype is. Even though it
hmm
seems their hype seems to work at the cons, but
yeah. I mean, it's a block party again. They're
yep,
doing. This one's obviously gonna be in Florida, and it's $174 for the ticket. They just haven't been on sale yet. So like, and they sell. They usually do sell out. A lot of people
yeah,
go there because they do give out stuff. Obviously, you get a
they
chance to
do.
get them free things and seeing some new products and whatever. So they tend to do pretty well when it comes to specific event stuff. But yeah, we'll see kind of more about what happens with that. But like a lot of times, we speak about Thrilljoy. We also love to talk about Rokimoto, and Rokimoto is also a little quiet, honestly. But
Yeah,
they did hit their 1 year mark recently, which was pretty cool to see. Just kind of where they've been and what's been going on. They're kind of on the opposite end of Thrilljoy. They've been a lot more slower and like
yeah,
to coming out with stuff here and there, but at a good pace, and it's not overwhelming. And we do love a lot of the products that they have been coming out with. It's still not as easily accessible, which I wish they were. It's still to this day. We've talked about this in a couple episodes. That we really don't see a lot of these other ways besides that original one. I don't know if it just hasn't hit the East Coast, but for some reason we don't see it.
no,
Um, but an interesting thing, and we'll just touch on quickly, is they will be at San Diego Comic Con. This is kind of exciting because like maybe they will be at New York Comic Con because I would love to definitely be there. Hopefully they
I
come
know.
to New York Comic Con. And at San Diego Comic Con, they're also going to have an event. which is another cool thing because they have been mostly at like toy fairs and things
Yep.
like that and whatever. And this is going to be a big event for them, I'm sure. And they're going to do an event. But the interesting thing is it's the same day as when Funko's doing their fun days, because Funko also announced,
Is bringing
we
their
didn't
fun
mention
days
it before,
back.
but they are bringing fun days back. The event, maybe Freddy's, who knows? We don't know too much details, but they're coming back with that. And it's the same time as Rokimoto, which is going to be interesting because we've always said that Mike is what really made fun days and the excitingness and the parties and all that kind of stuff. And it's like he's taking over Rokimoto to do that now. And what's Funko going to do? They don't really have that person still, even though we talked about the CEO and what we like about him. They don't really have that. Is he? I'm assuming he's not going to be that person, but who knows? But what are your thoughts with this? Just kind of, I don't think it's like as crazy, as big of a deal, but I guess when it gets closer to it, we probably will hear a little bit more about kind of how there'll be more in a competition, if anything.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I disagree with you, but like I think it's pretty. Mike, I think, is making a statement for his own, and I love Mike, whether it's his own personal beef or ego, like having it the same night as Funko. I do find that interesting when, you know, the con spans over 4 days. And I even think his name Back to Fun is kind of like, even I don't know if you saw, because I know you were away when a lot of the stuff was dropping, like some of the teases for it. I mean, this is quintessential old school Funko, what he would do, the type of videos. Like
Hmm.
they're quirky. Like they have not really made that many videos like that for Rokimoto, I feel
Yeah, it's
like,
been a
since
minute, if
the
anything.
beginning.
Hmm.
Um, it just screams like, okay, we did that Dreams thing last year, which unfortunately the space was too small. It had some bad feedback. I do think Mike is going to be like, okay, I'm just going back to what I did for Funko, which is, I think, a good thing. Um, and I think it's going to be a big night for Rokimoto. And I think it's going to either bring them to the next level or they're going to stay at to where they're never going to that next level, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Maybe I feel like we may get some new product there. Like I just feel like they're really need to step it up, and I think they will.
Hmm.
But like you said, they've been kind of slow. The stuff is still hard to find. I know, like I said, I've said this a few episodes ago. It's some of it's now up for pre-order. Some of the new lines on like Box Lunch and
Yeah.
Hot Topic, but I'm assuming it's
Yeah, it's
because
still not the
it's,
same.
yeah, it's not the same. And like, I don't know. I'm assuming it's because of some sort of agreement they made with other retailers, but I don't understand why it's not on their website. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's a huge mistake and miss. It would totally change, I think, people buying their product. Um, but I still am just as enamored by the brand. It's just like you said, like there hasn't really been much to talk about, and unfortunately, some of the new lines, like Betty Boop, for example, like I just don't really have any interest in that. Like I'm not gonna get that. Even the same what it's kind of funny, like the one new line he teased at, and I get it, that he teased at Toy Fair was like Hello Kitty and Friends.
Mhm.
Probably not something I'm gonna get. Like there hasn't been an IP that's really exciting me. But I know there will be. But
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be, and maybe even more of the original stuff because we hadn't
which I
gotten
kind
a
of
lot
miss
of those
that.
in a while too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we start seeing some of that. But I agree. It's probably going to be a good event for them. They usually do pretty well with that. Obviously, they had the drama the last time, but I think they're going to fix a lot of that stuff now. It was kind of their first time really doing something big, and now they're able to kind of have that experience and know what to do and not to do and etc. But look out for that. We will see that coming in the summer, obviously, for San Diego Comic Con. I'm sure we'll talk more about it when we get more details and more information. But we're moving on. This is going to be our quick little card news. I know Charlie's really excited for this. For any of you guys who have not seen, obviously the Olympics just ended, Winter Olympics, and last event was, of course, men's ice hockey, and the United States beat Canada. Sorry if we have any Canadian listeners, but yeah, USA. But the big thing is, of course, Tops has been huge with this, and they have been really pushing the Tops Now stuff, which we like and we talk about it a lot. And it's a quick way for them to get like photos on cards and
Yes.
great looking cards of like stuff that just happened, big events, big, games, moments, whatever it may be. Spanning all over, even pop culture. Marvel even did something in there. It's not just sports, but obviously with this and Jack Hughes specifically being the big golden goal, we got cards, we got autographs and stuff like that. But even bigger than that is like his stuff is just like blowing up now. Like if you have any of his stuff,
It's
and
crazy.
it's just crazy how these moments and these things happen. Obviously, this is a huge moment. It's massively, the Olympics is massive, obviously. Um, but yeah, that was just a little thing. I know. Do you have it? Do you own any of his cards or anything?
Nothing that's, I
Oof.
could sell for the type of money that it's going, base cards, but like just give like run a few numbers. Like there's been a 20,000% increase in sales.
Jeez.
Um, $35,000 worth of cards have been sold on like eBay since he scored that goal. Just and like if you have like his signed rookie card, one of them sold for $11,000. Another one, the PSA 9 sold for 8.7K. I mean, it's insane stuff. And what's also crazy is like Upper Deck has the NHL license, which
Mhm.
kind of sucks. Like, not that it's if you're a hockey fan you collect, but like it's still just not is being shoved in your face as if Tops had it, which I feel like makes these cards a little more scarce in a weird way. And what's also even crazy is for the Tops Now card, it is now, which is funny that like Tops already said this because you can still buy the card, but
Mhm.
it surpassed 100,000 copies that have been bought. Um, which now means one collector will receive a one-of-one Topps Chrome Superfractor of the card, which they normally don't do.
Mhm.
Um, it's just like it excites me because I'm a big hockey fan. The Devils are my favorite team, and Jack Hughes is my favorite player. It's just insane how his life has completely changed, and just strictly from like a sports memorabilia world, like it's insane.
Yeah, it
Certain
just goes to show
people,
you how
yeah,
crazy things can be impacted by one simple
exactly.
game, play,
Which
whatever it is,
is,
right?
I guess, the sports car world in general. It's just wild.
Hmm. Yeah, it just goes to show you like that's still a big thing. And if you have rookie cards or you have autograph cards, you have anything of anyone, just know that one single moment can change people's
Just
lives and change
it's
like
crazy.
the value of stuff. And it's good to kind of hold on to it. That's like where a true collector really is, where some people just kind of get rid of stuff right away. And it's like still to this day, I own a one of one card. It's a baseball player. It's one of the like Bowman, like rookie type like prospects. I use, I mean, a rookie. And I like randomly will follow this guy, like, is he being brought up? Where is he? Like, and he's like nowhere near. He's like down in the farm system. He's not a big deal. It's for Tigers, I think.
You never
And I'm
know.
just like holding it, like, you know what? I just maybe this guy would become a superstar. Just make me be a superstar, random dude, and I have a one of one card of his autograph. But
Which that's what sucks too. Like those are the cards that like that's what the people ultimately end up wanting that go crazy up in value.
yeah,
You
yeah,
need to have something special. Base cards. I mean, yeah. Now get a little more money. You can get dollars now for base
yeah.
cards
You get
instead
a
of
dollar 50
cents.
instead of 25 cents. Yeah,
Yeah, but
uh,
still, it's still
yeah.
cool.
It's definitely cool. But yeah. So that's the collecting stuff. We're gonna talk about a couple movie things to end the episode, like we were saying. The first one, it's in our wheelhouse. It's Disney property. It's one of the best movie franchises, even if
Ever.
you want to put it there, ever, especially in a Disney World. Um, but it is the Toy Story 5 trailer. So the Toy Story 5 trailer came out. We got pictures in the beginning. We had story. We knew what it was going to be about. We knew technology was getting involved, with the quote unquote like tablet, like a lily pad. And now we got the first trailer. I know both of us were really excited and we saw it. And I do want to hear kind of your first impression on it, and then it's been a couple days, so maybe even
Yeah.
what you thought, and then maybe if it's sitting on it now is a little different. Are you excited for it and kind of what we saw in this trailer and like what's to come, or are you on the other end? I don't know. Let's see. What do you think?
Yeah. So I will start off by saying Toy Story is my favorite Pixar franchise of all time. So like I have high expectations for Toy Story. I'm not one of those people who like when they announce even though I think the first three is a perfect trilogy, Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending. I love Toy Story 4. I think Toy Story
Hmm.
4 is actually underrated. And one thing that I love about the storytelling is they're actually relatable stories for growing up. And then now I even feel it more as a parent, which I think kind of lends itself into this new story, which I actually think is brilliant, where essentially Bonnie, who is the new Andy, but she's been the new Andy now for a while,
Yeah.
um gets a tablet, an iPad. Lilypad is the character's new name. Who, I mean, they haven't really showed in the trailers yet. If you're like a kid, you probably don't really realize, but she's going to be the villain
Hmm.
of the movie. Um, and honestly, Bonnie no longer is really interested at all in her other toys. I mean, they even make jokes in the trailer like how kids are addicted to the screens; they're just staring at them. Um, and they also, which I love, they brought I know a lot of people are like, well, how's Woody going to be in this movie? They already established, I thought, very well in the trailer that the toys actually have still been in contact with Woody
Hmm.
through like walkie talkies, and
Hmm.
they're like, we need you, Woody. And it was amazing. Is in perfect Disney fashion to sell toys. He comes with bandana as like a handkerchief. So that's going to be new Woody Funko Pops, new Woody action figures because it's going to look different.
Poncho.
Yep, the poncho. But I mean, there's even still the gags for the adults. He takes off his hat, he's freaking bald, which was also amazing. This is totally off top, but Sharpie, like companies already were running with it. I think the trailer did better than like some haters probably would have expected. Like Sharpie made a post like, "We got you, Woody," will on their
Yeah.
socials. Like it's just
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. It also looks like Jesse is kind of the main character of
Yeah.
this movie.
Which I read that before I
Yeah, I
seen the
read it
trailer.
before
Yeah.
too. It didn't, I mean, it's annoying because some people were hating on that, but like to me, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And also looks like she's really afraid of going full circle, that she's going to get forgotten again by her owner. There's new toys that have been added. I know one of the new voices for one of the toys, which we saw but you didn't hear talk, is Conan O'Brien, which I'm like super pumped for. Um, yeah, I actually think the movie looks great, and I also think just from online chatter, a lot of the haters are kind of like, "Oh wow, this movie looks good."
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think more of what's interesting about the hater thing is like I think more of them were like the original three, like they just didn't like that it continued to go on or whatever. But like if it's a good movie and it makes sense, I think like it could,
They're not
you
cash
know,
grabs, in
yeah,
my
like
opinion.
you're gonna make something and this is what's interesting about this is like four was good. I actually liked four a lot too. But you could see where it's like, all right, did they have to make four? Maybe they just made it for whatever. No, but like five, I mean, I get four kind of ended. Well, supposed to end it, right? We thought, oh, it's gonna end it. They're gonna kind of go on their ways. But then like five is actually perfect because it's like this is so relatable. Like
Yes.
we had to get this at some point. We're in a world now that like technology is what it is. Kid, we both have children. Our children obviously watch TV, watch tablets, whatever. Even in schools, they use tablets now,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's clearly a thing. So like to them, it still could be a toy. It has games, it has things like that. Especially this one's more like one of those learning ones where you're learning
Yeah.
things, you're
Yeah.
playing games on it, right? But that's still considered a toy. This is called Toy Story, right? Like it has to be every type of toy. And this is one of them. And it's interesting because as a parent who's going through all this, and we see this all the time, it's very relatable because it's like, yeah, there's kids nowadays that are glued to their tablets or glued to phones if they have phones now. And it's different than when we grew up. We grew up in an age that those things didn't even exist.
Yeah.
So it's not like we had the option. So what we had to do was play with these toys and play in the dirt and play with this and imagination, make up stories and whatever, which is what Toy Story was. And what I like about it too is that, like, one, they're doing that great by doing this, like, introducing the tablet thing, right, as like the villain. And then two is like us, like I've seen this a lot in play and like posts and stuff, and it's very relatable. Like Toy Story 1 came out in 95.
Yeah.
Like well, I was 9 and you were, I think, even a little younger. And we grew up watching that as kids, and then the next Toy Stories, and then they kind of were more into our adulthood when they started coming out. Now we have kids,
Yeah.
so like they have been watching it because we like it, but realistically, like we still relate to watching these things as kids, and it's kind of like us growing up with them. So like there's so much to this movie that I think that's why it's like a perfect, like you can't hate on it. Like it's
Yeah.
a perfect full circle thing. The story seems like it's amazing. The hints and the stuff that they're doing, like that whole thing with Woody is so funny because it points to two things. Like one, they're toys, so they get
Yes.
old and they fade. Like that's what toys do, right? But then two, they obviously quote unquote come to life. So then you got the real life. You're old. You're getting bald. Like it's
Yes,
it's
this is
such a
amazing.
perfect, like you're getting both worlds like done so well. And they've done that so much with all their toys and like hints like that kids may not understand and a parent will get, like a joke and the thing, like they do that a lot, but still making it fun for kids. So this is something that, like, yeah, a lot of times these especially Pixar movies,
Yeah.
like they're kids movies, but you go into them as parents and like you have a completely different way of loving the movie because it hits you differently than it did
Which
a
is
kid.
why Pixar became what
Yeah,
they
they do it.
became.
They do it so well. They do it so well. And Toy Story being one of the greatest ever, like the movie itself, and like I said, the franchise it's, as a whole too. This is one that I was excited for because of that aspect of it and the new story. And I think it's going to be great. The animation looks awesome too.
Yeah.
I even like that dream animation like state that they do, the
Oh,
way they
in the
did that.
beginning of
That
this,
was really
yeah.
cool. Just to kind of see something different.
Forky getting married.
Yeah, which is hilarious as well. But like all of that's great. The voices, everything, like still to this day, like so many of the voices that are in Toy Story, even if they were actors before, which obviously a lot of them were, when you hear them anywhere else, you think of the Toy Story character.
I agree.
Like I was just watching, not to go off like a side tangent here, but what were we watching? We were watching The Incredibles. And the little like old guy boss guy, I don't remember his name, but his boss, he's like a little old man.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Rex.
Yes.
And when I hear it, all I thought of was like, because I was telling Brooke, and I was like, that's Rex. And she like looks aside and like you hear him talking again, and you're like, oh yeah, because that's like, oh, you think Ham when you hear him and all that stuff, you're like, oh, that's Ham. Like it's so
No,
funny.
I agree with you.
Obviously, we know Tom Hanks, and like they're a
Tim
little
Allen.
different, but you still hear Woody, you still hear Tim Allen as Buzz.
It's crazy too. This will be the first. Just when you bring up the voices, the voice actors of both Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head have passed on. So this will be the first movie
Since
where
then,
there's
yeah.
new actors playing it. But I mean, people are so good at that you don't.
Dude,
even
voice
know.
acting is a whole different story. But voice acting is wild. How like, I mean, like you even think of. Let's talk about the big one in Disney, like Mickey Mouse, right? Like the amount of different people that will play
Yeah.
him, and you will have no idea that it's a different person
No,
that's
you
doing
don't.
it. Is insane.
Unless you're some crazy person, because like a lot of people. Did you watch the new Muppet like show?
No,
Or
no,
you
no,
don't
I
know?
didn't. No.
So like Kermit has a new voice. Like tons of people are like, oh, it's just I can't
So
stand the
different.
new Kermit voice. I'm like, what? Like
Yeah,
it sounds exactly this. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds
it's wild.
pretty damn close.
Some of these people are good, but yeah,
But
we'll see. But I am excited for it, and obviously, Sin's excited, Brooklyn's excited, so we're all, I'm sure, gonna go watch that when it does come out. That's one that like when it comes out, I'm like, yeah, we definitely gotta go watch that because
100%.
it's been a while. I love Toy Story. But the last one we're gonna talk about, another animated, a little different. No, not animated, from anime. What am I saying? It's not animated, it's live action. It is the One Piece. But something pretty cool about this, because we did talk about the trailer actually a couple episodes ago when it first released. Looks intense, looks awesome. Second season, new characters, a lot going on. We got another little tidbit. We keep getting like little
They've
pieces
been
and little
promoting
trailers
the
and things like that. Yeah, they're really
crap out of
pushing
this.
it. Now it's like really building steam before it actually comes out. But they're doing something. They're taking maybe a card out of the book of Stranger Things here
Yeah.
and series episodes in movie theaters, which I was still dying to hell that movie theaters are amazing and they shouldn't be dying. Talk about me and Charlie go back and forth on this hilariously because he's on my side too, but it's funny because it is what it is. I just don't want to believe that it's happening. But what's the cool thing that's going on with One Piece? Because I know when you told me, I didn't see this, so I didn't know this was a thing. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty hyped about it.
first two episodes are going in the movie theater, and I mean, first thing that screams to me is like, it must be pretty epic and cinematic.
Yeah,
Which also is probably, I didn't really think about this before, but it's why it's taken such a long time for season 2 to come out. I mean, the first season came out in 2023.
yeah, it
So
was a while
3
ago.
years later,
Mhm.
um, and Netflix feels confident enough that like they're gonna, is going to promote this new show, the new season. They're going to make some extra cash off of it. They know One Piece has a huge following. I mean, they probably have also seen like how well some of those like anime event films have
Yeah,
done in the
yeah,
movie theaters.
yeah.
Um, I think it's a smart
Demon
move.
Slayer, Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing move by Netflix. Also, I also think it shows a little bit of confidence to a lot of the haters if Netflix ultimately does get Warner Brothers, even though now that's up at, Paramount's back in that deal, yada, yada, yada. But like that they do have some skin in the game in the theatrical experience when they feel fit. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's super cool. I don't know if I'm gonna go to it. The one thing too, I haven't been able to check, and I wanted to beforehand, so it's my bad. I don't know if you did. Like, I don't know if it's the same as like Stranger Things, where you just had to kind of like get a ticket for concessions.
Yeah.
If it's the
I
same thing,
So I didn't look at it, but if I'm not mistaken, because I did go to the Netflix one, I believe that it. Don't quote us because we're gonna have to really look at this, but I believe like they have to. I think that because it's coming from Netflix and it's on its own, whatever, for them to have it in there, I think that's the way it is done. If I'm not
okay,
mistaken.
yeah,
And if that's the case, then that's cool, whatever. Obviously, it's literally Netflix. It's not like it's a different studio. So, like, I think it would probably be the same. But again, we don't know. But yeah, it was like a concession thing. You didn't really pay. You paid, but you were paying for food essentially. Like, you had like a voucher to use towards food, and your ticket came with it. And it was cheaper than what a normal ticket price was, anyways. It
B.
was like $10. Um, but I would assume that's probably what they're gonna do. I've never been to like the Dragon Ball one when they did that. I know Demon Slayer was out, but that was like a movie, I
Yeah,
believe. It wasn't necessarily like the series, an
yeah,
episode just going there.
movie.
Um, but it is smart. It's cool. It's interesting that they're doing the first two, not like the finale, not
Yeah,
like
I,
maybe
I
just the
agree.
first one. Like that is a little interesting. Because is it like you go watch both like back to back?
I think so.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming, right?
yeah,
But 100% what you said, I also agree with. Netflix obviously has put all their money into this. We saw it in the trailer. It looks like they have Netflix money. The first
yeah.
one was great, but you can tell this one's just more epic and bigger and probably more big battle scenes and a lot more stuff going on, I'm sure. So in a theater, it probably does look great, which is smart of them. And it kind of pushes, the excitement of it, gets people out to theaters still.
It also helps
And
casuals who like may have forgotten about this or
yeah,
they see them there. Also, then pushes Netflix subscriptions. As crazy as that sounds, but
yeah. But
um,
yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited for the series in general. It has been a while, like you said. I do have a feeling though, I don't know if they've like fully confirmed this, but I have a feeling like it's been a while, but I feel like they kind of already have like even maybe next season kind of in the books of being filmed. I would
they're
assume
filming
they're
that
kind
right
of
now.
doing it all like together,
Yeah,
yeah, to then not have that gap, I would assume. So it seems like maybe they didn't know how the first season was going to go, how it was going to be received, and like where people are going to love it being the first time of such a massive anime with so many episodes and so much crazy fans. Like in live action, would it do well? And from what I've seen, a lot of people did like it on that
Yeah.
end, and obviously they got new people that we knew nothing about it to like it, you know? So, it definitely did well enough. It did a lot of merchandise, it did a lot of stuff like that, and now they're seeing, bigger names, big actors joining on board and stuff like that too. So, it's obviously doing pretty good.
Yeah,
So, I'm excited for it.
there's a lot. It's just funny you say that. Like the one thing they've done that was found interesting, obviously the main crew isn't this way necessarily, but like they've gotten some like A-list actors to be in the show, which is crazy. There's a lot more this season as like some of the new villains.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I know
Beyond the
you had
core group, which was just a bunch of
just
random people, really.
unknowns,
Yeah.
which I think was smart. But like I know you sent me something like last week, I think, and started researching it. Like seems like it could be legit. Like they may be trying to get Adam Sandler to be in
Yeah. One of
like
the
it's just kind of crazy. It just shows the massive like hype of the show and like actors want to
money
be
that they
part
have.
of it. Yeah, yes, the money, the paychecks they can write.
Now they can
Yeah.
afford big people.
It's just crazy. I haven't been like it's weird. I haven't been as excited for a show to finally come back since probably like
Cobra Kai.
well, Cobra Kai's now been done for a while. But I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
like
But
when
to come back,
Stranger
though.
Things finally came back and now One Piece, like I had just been like waiting for them. But it's funny. I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of the shows I love the most are on Netflix. They're epic ones. Like you say Cobra Kai. It's just so funny. I miss Cobra Kai so much. But I'm so pumped for One
Yeah,
Piece.
they're big. I mean, Squid Game. Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
when they have big shows,
They're
big.
big.
They're big, and they do well. Yeah, we'll see how this comes out, and I'm excited to see it for sure. If you guys are as well, any of the stuff we talked about, we had a very crazy variety of stuff on today's episode. Obviously a lot more Funko news and CEO talk, maybe Funko movies. Speaking of movies,
Yeah.
what's going to happen with that? Obviously, the VeeFriends world with the comics and the cards. Thrilljoy and Rokimoto being out there and STCC coming soon. Like all this stuff has been exciting, and we're going to keep continuing to talk about it. Cards, and obviously all the movie stuff. So we'll keep up with all the stuff with the latest news. Let us know down below what you guys think. Comment on any of the stuff that we spoke about. We'll feel free to respond back to you guys. Really appreciate you. And if you've been around this long, hopefully, if you haven't already liked the video, please make sure you like it. It helps us out. And like always, Charlie will close us out, let you guys know all of our handles and all the good stuff where to find us. And we appreciate all of you for listening, both avenues, and especially if you got this far in the episode. Thank you, guys.
Thank you as always. And you can find us on Instagram at Collector Chatter, at Collector_Migs, and at Collector _Charlie. And if you're on the podcast platforms, thank you for listening there. We appreciate when you can leave us a review over there. And if you're on Spotify, you can interact with our poll for the episode because that really helps the episode get pushed out, and we appreciate it. But then obviously, if you're on those platforms, come over to YouTube. And if you're already here, thank you. But if you could please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when new stuff comes out. Like this video, like Make Sense, and please, please, please comment. We need all that help we can get. Keep pushing out this podcast. We really appreciate everyone for sticking with us for as long as you have. We really are excited for everything that we're going to be talking about this year. And as always, collecting is the way. Until the next episode. Later, everyone.
Peace out, guys.